Everybody, please take your seats. Now entering the hall, representing candidates for the degrees of Master of Public Administration, Executive Master of Public Administration, Master of Science in Education in Educational Leadership, Master of Science in Education, Higher Education Administration, is Helen Marie Curry, carrying the banner for the Marks School of Public and International Affairs. Now entering the hall, representing candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts in Corporate Communication, Master of Arts in Mental Health Counseling, Master of Science in Industrial and Organizational Psychology, and the Master of Science in Financial Engineering is Greta Kastner, carrying the banner for the George and Mildred Weissman School of Arts and Sciences. Now entering the hall, representing candidates for the degrees of Master of Business Administration, Executive Master of Business Administration, Master of Business in Healthcare Administration, Master of Science in Business, Executive Master of Science, International Executive Master of Science, and the Master of Science in Industrial and Labor Relations is Melissa Shao Hu, carrying the banner for the Zicklin School of Business. Now entering the hall, representing the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, is Christine Zhou, carrying the banner for the Marks School of Public and International Affairs. entering the hall representing candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts is Samantha Azizo, carrying the banner for the George and Mildred Weissman School of Arts and Sciences. Now entering the hall, representing candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration, is Kifa Rihan, carrying the banner for the Zicklin School of Business. Now entering the hall, representing the distinguished alumni of the Baruch College, celebrating their 50th and 60th reunion, are members of the class of 1957 and 1967. All guests and graduates, please stand. Now entering the hall, the faculty of the Marx School of International and Public Affairs, the Mildred and George Weissman School of Arts and Sciences, and the Zicklin School of Business of Baruch College, followed by the commencement faculty marshals. Now entering the hall, in the position of highest honor, the Distinguished Platform Party. City University of New York trustee Fernando J. Ferrer. City University of New York Senior Vice Chancellor and Chief Financial Officer Matthew Sapienza. And the President of Baruch College, Mitchell B. Wallerstein. Leading the platform party is Faculty Chief Marshal Marco DeSena.
Mr. President, the hour is at hand. The guests are assembled. May these proceedings begin. As the opening for the event, let us all rise for the national anthem, which will be led by Catherine Ochoa, who is a member of the class of 2017.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Congratulations, we did it!
Please be seated. Good morning, everyone. I am Mitchell Wallerstein, the president of Baruch College, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all here today. And I am delighted that we have a very special guest at the start of today's ceremony who has come on short notice, taking time out of a very busy schedule. Senator Charles Schumer has been a great friend to Baruch College, and CUNY for many years. And we are honored to have him return once again to help us celebrate our 2017 graduates. Born and raised right here in Brooklyn, where he still lives, Chuck has been in the United States Senate since 1998. He now serves in the important position of Senate Minority Leader, and in that capacity, he plays a critical role as a spokesman for the Democratic Party and a voice of reason in the United States Senate. Students, you will appreciate this factoid. Senator Schumer was the valedictorian of James Madison High School, and he scored a perfect 1,600 on his SATs, which helped him get admitted to Harvard University. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to the senior senator from the state of New York, Chuck Schumer.
Well, thank you, Professor Wallerstein, for you and your whole staff, the great professors, the academic staff, the clerical folks, all the way down to the people who keep Baruch clean late at night. Thanks for making this one of the best institutions of higher learning, not just in New York, but in America. It's my honor to address the members of the podium, the friends and families of the graduates, but most of all, you, the class of 2017, Baruch, congratulations, you've made it. Now, before I begin, I want to acknowledge my friend and your keynote speaker this morning, Adam Newman. He's built an incredible company in WeWork, accomplished so much in the business world at a young age. I know he makes the entire Baruch community proud, and it's great to share the stage with him today. He's actually graduating. He finished his last course. And you know what? He stands for many great things rolled into one. He stands for what's great about Baruch, what's great about CUNY, what's great about immigrants, what's great about New York, and what's great about America. Let's have a round of applause for Adam. Now, first, I'd like to announce my class gift. As you know, it's hard to pay for college and graduate school. If you're poor, the federal government helps you out. That's a good thing. But what about the middle class? So a few years ago, I wrote a law that says you or your parents, whoever paid for college or graduate school, can take as a full tax credit $2,500 off your federal taxes to help defray the cost of tuition, provided, in Washington, there's always a provided your family income is below $200,000 a year. So, if you come from a family that makes below $200,000, make sure you or mom or dad takes that credit. Last year, about a quarter of all the people who were entitled forgot to do it because it's relatively new. And if you forgot, you can fill out a simple form with the IRS and get up to $7,500 back in the mail. Not bad. Now, class, what happens if you come from a family that makes above $200,000 a year? God bless you. I'd like to say a word to the moms and dads. Moms and dads, I know how you feel. A few short years ago, my wife Iris and I sat where you did, watched our daughter Jessica graduate. It was one of the greatest days of our lives. If you're like us, you think back to the tough times. It's not easy raising kids. We remembered when Jessica was 5 months old. She had 106.5 fever. We rushed her to the hospital. We didn't think she'd make it. Praise God, she did. Remembered when we put her on the kindergarten bus for the first time, when she was 5. As the bus pulled away, she ran to the back of the bus, waving goodbye out the back window, tears streaming down her little cheeks. But when Iris went to meet her on the bus's return at 2 o'clock, she bounded off the bus, happy as could be. She said, "Mommy, I came back." When we talked to her that night, we realized what was going on in her little brain. She thought that was it. New parents, new family, new house, new room. Then we remembered her as a teenager, where she didn't say much to us. And when she did, we didn't understand a word she said. And then, moms and dads, you see your sons and daughters get that diploma and become an adult before your very eyes. Congratulations to the moms and dads. And one final word of thanks. As we are here today, having a great morning, there are young men and women your age, many from the New York area, who are in our armed forces, many of them in dangerous places like Iraq and Afghanistan, risking their lives for us. Let's have a round of applause for them as well. Now, to this great class of 2017, you are graduating at a time of enormous change across the country and around the world. Profound economic change, profound social change. The world's moving very fast. In the old days, you graduated from college and the odds were pretty high you'd have the same job or at least work in the same field for the next 40 years. That's not so true anymore. Many of you will have several jobs, even several careers. Along with these economic changes, the internet has put so much information at your fingertips, it's sometimes hard to figure out what's important and to distinguish what's true and what isn't. And around the world, as you know, there have been great changes. A generation ago, words like terrorism and suicide bombing were never heard. But the good news is this: your generation is perhaps better equipped than any generation that's come before it to adapt to these changes, to overcome the obstacles they present, seize the opportunities they afford, to pursue your passions, and like Baruch graduates before you, accomplish big things. Right now, though, sitting in your seats, you may not be exactly sure what's going to come next. With so much of the world changing, it understandably sometimes feels like you're jumping into an abyss. But the key, graduates, is not to fear the unknown. Embrace it, relish it, soak it up for every possibility it has to offer. Now, how do I know? Because I remember these feelings when I was seated at graduation. When I was seated at graduation several decades ago, I had just learned that I had won a scholarship to travel all around the world, all expenses paid for a whole year. For me, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. I had never been out of the country before. But at the same time, I met a girl and I fell in love. So I had to decide, graduates, do I go around the world for a whole year on the all-expense-paid scholarship? Or do I stay home with the girl, my first true love? Class of 2017, what would you have done? President Wallerstein, the class is divided. I stayed home with the girl. Don't clap yet, you romantics over there. The story unfolds. That summer, she went on a brief vacation. I went to the airport to meet her on her return, and as soon as she got off the plane, I saw by the look on her face something was the matter. She dumped me by Labor Day. There I was, no scholarship, no trip around the world, no girl. I said to myself, what a loser you are. You're never going to make anything of yourself. Give it up, hang it up. And in fact, I stayed in my house for several months, moped around, felt sorry for myself. But somehow I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and moved forward. And a few years later, I found myself seated at graduation once again, this time from law school. But on the way home from law school, I told Mom and Dad I was not going to join the fancy law firm like we had planned. I told them my love was politics. I told them my dream was to run for office. As you could imagine, my parents were shocked. My mother was particularly disappointed. You see, I came from a working-class family. My father was an exterminator, didn't go to college. We never made much money. And the law firm, the fancy law firm, was paying $400 a week, which in those days was more money than my family had ever seen. But my dream was to run for office. And so that fall, at the age of 23 and against very long odds, I ran for the New York State Assembly, and I had 3 opponents. There was the party machine candidate, there was a neighborhood activist, and then there was my mother, who was telling all her friends not to vote for me. So as she said, I'd get this dumb idea of being a politician out of my big, thick head. Well, graduates, a few years earlier, I sure didn't get that girl. But that November, I won the election. And as they say, the rest is history. So graduates, on this great day of your achievement, my advice to you is take the risk. Don't let fear of failing deter you, even though the world is so different and so changing. For those of us who have gotten older and look back on life, one of the greatest regrets are the what-ifs. What if I had only done this? What if I had only gone there? So my advice to the class of 2017 is simple. Go for it. You're about to cast off into the unknown, and it sure can be scary sometimes, but you've got great assets, a great education here at Baruch, families that will have your back through thick and thin. So garner up your courage, garner up your strength, put aside your doubts, take a chance, and if you do, it is my hope, it is my prayer, and indeed, it is my confidence that you will achieve true success and true joy in life. To this great class of Baruch 2017, congratulations. Good luck. Godspeed, and don't forget, go for it.
Thank you, Senator Schumer. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us this morning. I would like now to introduce my esteemed colleague, Dr. David Christie, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs.
Good morning and welcome to the 2017 commencement of Baruch College. I'm honored to be your host on this festive occasion. This is truly a memorable day for all of our graduates, their families, and friends. Baruch College is proud to be a distinguished senior college in the City University of New York. At any given time, there are more than 250,000 students pursuing degrees at CUNY colleges. To bring us greetings from that broader CUNY community, I'm pleased to introduce the Honorable Fernando J. Ferrer, who serves on the CUNY Board of Trustees. Trustee Ferrer is also a Baruch graduate, earning his Master's in Public Administration in 2004, and he currently serves as Vice Chairman of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Trustee Ferrer.
Thank you very much, President Wallerstein, Senior Vice Chancellor Sapienza, honorary degree recipients, Neil deGrasse Tyson from the Bronx, Alan Goodman, members of the faculty, friends, families, and the reason we celebrate today, the class of 2017 of Baruch College. Good morning to all of you. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'm deeply honored to join you and your families in celebrating this important day in your lives and in the life of our city. Today represents an impressive milestone in your lives, and I know that it wasn't a solitary effort. So let's acknowledge your families, professors, and friends for their own contribution to this day we celebrate. I suspect you'll continue to call on your Baruch professors for help, advice, and a respected check on your own ideas. And those mentors will become treasured friends and colleagues. That's the way it worked for me the moment I attended my first Baruch class a long time ago. And for decades, Baruch has been New York's secret sauce for upward mobility. Baruch and your professors have changed the lives of countless students who came, so many, like me, the first in our families to ever graduate from a college and dare to dream even greater things. So class of 2017, today you join a strong alumni community of tens of thousands of global leaders who share the legacy of this remarkable college and its passion for positive change and service. We welcome you to that long line of leaders committed to making a difference. Be the agents of positive change we need and make things better than you found them. You've learned much here at Baruch. For example, we now know that just about anybody can be President of the United States. But not anybody can be the inspiring teacher of a classroom of students. Not anybody can heal and comfort the sick. Not anybody can be the ethical leader of business, a hospital, a school, or government that we need more of and not fewer of. That's you I'm looking at, class of 17. So today you graduate from New York's premier academy for nonprofit business and government leadership, and that means you have all the right tools to make a better city, state, and nation, to make meaningful and purposeful lives for yourselves, your families, and above all of us we call New Yorkers. Reach back and to help someone ready to walk the same road you have walked. Reach back and take them with you. And we'll all be cheering for you. Good luck, class of 17.
Thank you, Trustee Ferrer. To bring greetings on behalf of CUNY Chancellor James B. Milliken, it is my pleasure to present Matthew Sapienza, Senior Vice Chancellor and Chief Financial Officer of the City University of New York.
Good morning. On behalf of Chancellor James Milliken and everyone at the City University of New York, congratulations to the Baruch College class of 2017. Let's hear it one more time. By the way, wasn't Catherine Ochoa amazing with the Star Spangled Banner? Let's hear it for her again. That was unbelievable. So I want to thank you for that warm reception. It's my honor and privilege to be here today. And I'm so grateful to Provost Christie for leaving something out in my introduction, because usually when I'm among Baruch students and Baruch faculty and they learn that I am a graduate of Pace University, I have a very different response. So thank you for the warm response today. It's great to be here among the Baruch family. So graduates, you're feeling a lot of emotions today. You're feeling a lot of pride. I know in this building, I feel a lot of Baruch pride, and I feel a lot of CUNY pride this morning. I know that you're feeling joy, you're feeling relief. If you didn't have breakfast this morning, I'm sure you're feeling hunger. We'll try to get through this quickly. But one of the things that I feel the most in terms of emotions today, I know everyone in this room does too, is gratitude. And I think one of the things that I'm most grateful for is to be part of this great university. And Baruch College and CUNY symbolize New York City. New York is a place of immigrants, and so is the City University of New York. And one of the great things about CUNY is our diversity is our strength. So I have tremendous gratitude to be here this morning and to be part of this great university. I also have tremendous gratitude for the leadership that we have at this university, led by our trustee and Baruch alum, Fernando Ferrer. Let's hear it for Trustee Ferrer again. I'm tremendously grateful for the outstanding leadership that we have at Baruch College, led by President Wallerstein, who's a fierce advocate for this college. So let's hear it for President Wallerstein. I'm grateful for the outstanding faculty that we have throughout this university, especially here at Baruch College. Let's hear it for the Baruch faculty. But graduates, I'm most grateful for you. You are the epitome of what the City University is all about. And I know that if you keep up the efforts that you made during your academic career, during your professional career, you're going to continue on that path to greatness that you're on. And from personal experience, I will say that I have many people in my office that are Baruch graduates. And I say to everyone that's out there today in this building, anyone watching this on live stream, the best thing that you can do, people, as a hiring manager is to hire a Baruch graduate. You will not be sorry. They are the best. So graduates, congratulations again. Continue on your path to greatness, and thank you so much for having me share on your special day this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor Sapienza. President Wallerstein, I would ask you to address the graduates who sit before us.
Well, good morning once again. I am delighted to welcome all of our graduating students, their families and friends, returning alumni from the classes of 1957 and 1967, and the distinguished members of our faculty who are seated behind me. To the members of the class of 2017 and to our many graduate students, we are gathered here today to mark the end of your journey at Baruch. But of course, we are at the same time celebrating the beginning or commencement of your lives as Baruch graduates and young professionals. As president of Baruch College, I take great pride in the fact that we will today confer more than 4,300 undergraduate degrees and 1,500 graduate degrees. Our city and our country desperately need graduates like you. At a time when we are confronting large and difficult problems such as growing socioeconomic inequality, terrorism, and the looming threat of global climate change, we find our domestic political process mired in hyper-partisan division, mistrust, anger, and yes, in some cases, outright hatred and bigotry. And these problems are not confined simply to the United States. Across the globe, we see evidence of increasingly polarized political processes that pit the proponents of nationalism and populism against the proponents of globalism. We witnessed this phenomenon last year here in the US with the presidential campaign between Donald Trump, an avowed populist and nationalist, and Hillary Clinton, a proponent of international cooperation and integration. Brexit in the United Kingdom was in the foreground of our election, where anti-immigrant advocates ran a successful campaign to convince Britons to vote to break away from the European Union. More recently, in the Netherlands and in France, firebrand nationalists threatened, if elected, to withdraw their countries from the European Union and fortify their borders against refugees and economic migrants. In both of these two elections, however, voters overwhelmingly rejected the populist arguments and elected candidates who supported European unity and integration. But despite the renewed support for globalism in these two cases, the potential for political conflict and civil unrest remain evident in many parts of the world. It is widely recognized that the core of this conflict, both here in the US and in Europe, is the issue of illegal immigration and the flows of refugees and economic migrants. Here at Baruch and at the City University of New York as a whole, we take great pride in our diversity, our multiculturalism, and our welcoming environment for all who wish to pursue a higher education. Indeed, we admit all qualified students, and we do not ask whether an individual is or is not documented. I like to say that students who attend Baruch represent the world. They and their families come from 168 different countries, and they speak more than 130 languages in their homes. So I think it is fair to say that the Baruch community falls squarely on the side of globalism and international engagement. And as one of the most ethnically diverse colleges in the country, it is our goal to educate students who are rooted and proud of their own national, ethnic, religious, and racial identities, and who are cognizant of the world's increasing interconnectedness, which is being facilitated by the internet and by the speed of global communication and international travel. We strive to develop students and future professionals who can collaborate effectively across racial, ethnic, and religious lines, and who appreciate the value and importance of an international engagement and respect for those who come from different backgrounds. No matter what your political orientation, there is no denying the growing scientific evidence that the world is facing unprecedented challenges that can only be solved through global cooperation and engagement. Among the phenomena we are witnessing are more violent and frequent storms, devastating droughts and forest fires, the melting of the polar ice caps, rising sea levels that are already beginning to threaten coastal cities such as New York and Miami, as well as small island nations. All of this, according to climate scientists, is the result of accelerating global warming, and this is just the beginning of the problems that we will face in the years to come. We also see a growing scarcity of water, both for drinking and agriculture, and that is a major cause of increased migration and political violence. And in the world's oceans, there has been a serious decline in fishery stocks and a destruction of the coral reefs, to name just two of the most imminent changes that have taken place. It is indeed a tragedy of the commons, of a size and scope that William Foster Lloyd, the Victorian-era economist who coined the term, could not have imagined back in 1833. But to be quite honest, that tragedy was just made substantially worse by the decision announced last Thursday that the United States will withdraw from the global climate change agreement, the so-called Paris Accord. As a result, the U.S. will now be isolated with just two other countries, Syria and Nicaragua, as the only other nations that are not party to and abiding by the agreement. William Foster Lloyd also could not have imagined the vast scale of shared resources and technology that we and the rest of the world now have at our disposal and that we have come to rely upon. Take, for example, the enormous research collaborations that span the globe, with scientists working together, connected via the internet, and traveling across international borders to gather data and visit each other's labs in the quest to understand and predict the impact of global climate change, to prevent and cure diseases, including highly communicable viruses such as Zika and Ebola, to explore outer space and understand our planet, and to develop new technologies in computer science and artificial intelligence that soon will lead to such advances as self-driving vehicles, personal robots, and computerized medical diagnoses. Consider, too, that food and thousands of other items are now shipped across oceans on a daily basis, making the population of the U.S. and other countries dependent on these goods, and governments increasingly focused on international trade. And the advent of the internet has not only dramatically changed the way most of us get information, but it has also facilitated connections between people in rural villages and urban centers. Just last month, we also saw the danger of the internet in terms of protecting personal privacy, when the largest ransomware attack in history crippled computers all around the world. In short, this is not the time for any nation to be erecting barriers or building walls or abandoning critically important international agreements. Too much is at stake for our planet, and there's too much to do together to address the needs of humanity. As you graduate, these issues and challenges will be part of the world that you inhabit, and they will demand your attention, whether you are headed to a career in business, in public affairs, in law, or in a field connected to the arts and sciences. But equipped with your Baruch degree and the intelligence and tenacity that help get you through college or graduate school, you have what it takes to be leaders in your chosen field. But no matter what your career path is, as you get into the world, I urge you to be involved in your community and to engage in government at all levels. Some of you may even consider running for elective office, joining the ranks of many Baruch alumni serving in state and local government, which includes both the current Speaker of the New York City Council, Melissa Mark Viverito, and the Speaker of the New York State Assembly, Carl Hastie, as well as 5 additional state assembly members, including most recently, Yulene Niu, who was the first Asian American to represent Lower Manhattan and Chinatown, and Judge Carolyn Walker Diallo, who is the first Muslim woman elected to serve on the bench in New York State. But even if you do not pursue elective office, you should understand and monitor your government and its actions. Voice your concerns and your needs by all means, and please vote. Indeed, exemplary engagement and civic action was immediately visible here in the U.S. after the announcement last week that we were pulling out of the climate accord. By the next morning, a coalition of 30 mayors, 3 governors, and more than 100 corporations began working with the United Nations to uphold the terms of the climate treaty, independent of the president's decision. I have great confidence that Baruch has prepared you well to contribute to the search for solutions to the problems faced by our city, our country, and our world. I also hope that you will stay connected as a Baruch alumni and that you will give back to your alma mater when you have the financial means to do so. Whether you know it or not, during your time as students at the college, you have benefited from the generosity and the vision of those who came before you. Beginning with our namesake, the legendary investor and international statesman Bernard M. Baruch, and the generous benefactors of our 3 schools, Larry Zingland, George and Mildred Weissman, and Austin Marks, our college has graduated thousands of individuals who have gone on to have extraordinary success as entrepreneurs and in numerous other professions. Indeed, you will be hearing in a little while from one such Baruch entrepreneur, Adam Newman, and he will have interesting things to say about his experience. Many of these individuals have remained connected to the college and have helped to keep Baruch moving forward by giving freely of their time to mentor current students and by contributing financial resources that support scholarships and create or improve programs and facilities at the college. So I am counting on your generation of Baruch graduates to pay it forward to benefit the generation of students who follow you. As a testament to the Baruch spirit, I would like to extend a warm welcome this morning to 2 groups of Baruch alumni from the classes of 1957 and 1967 who have come back to mark their 50th and 60th reunions. And to everyone who is a candidate for graduation at today's commencement, I want you to know that the members of the faculty and staff of Baruch College are proud of you, I am proud of you, and you have every right to be proud of yourself. As you celebrate your own achievement, however, I think it is also important to bear in mind that you likely did not reach this day all on your own. Almost every one of you can probably name an individual or a small group of people who helped you get to this point. And I'm not just referring to the person or persons who may have provided the financial support that enabled you to attend college or graduate school. I'm also talking about the people who gave you the emotional support and encouragement that helped you to overcome obstacles and to reach this milestone. In most cases, of course, this will have been your parents, but it may also have been a spouse, a partner, a sibling, your children, your extended family, or close friends. Hopefully, many of these special people are here with us today, and it is in some respects their day as well. So I now want to invite all of the candidates for graduation to rise and join me in thanking these special people who did everything to help and support you during your academic journey. Thank you. Please be seated. Please be seated. Now let us proceed to the awarding of the honorary degrees.
Thank you, President Wallerstein. In higher education, we choose to bestow honorary doctoral degrees on persons who have made a significant contribution to society. These degrees are presented honoris causa, meaning for honorable cause or reason, and they are the highest honor Baruch confers upon individuals for their extraordinary achievements. We will make 2 such awards today. I now ask David Birdsell, Marks Dean of the Marks School of Public and International Affairs, to escort our first honorary degree recipient to the podium.
Alan E. Goodman, you are an inspirational leader in the field of international exchange and development training, as well as an acclaimed educator and author in the area of international affairs. As president of the nonprofit Institute of International Education, known as the IIE, you spearhead research on international academic mobility and administer the U.S. Department of State-sponsored Fulbright program, in addition to more than 200 other corporate, government, and privately sponsored programs. You previously served as executive dean at the School of Foreign Service and a professor at Georgetown University. You were the first American professor to lecture at the Foreign Affairs College of Beijing. You also helped create the first U.S. academic exchange program with the Moscow Diplomatic Academy for the Association of Professional Schools of International Affairs and developed the diplomatic training program for Vietnam's foreign ministry. A member of the Council on Foreign Relations, you have served as Presidential Briefing Coordinator for the Director of Central Intelligence in the Carter administration, as well as a valued consultant to the Ford Foundation, the Woodrow Wilson National Fellowships Foundation, the United States Information Agency, and IBM. You have received numerous awards from institutions including Georgetown, Johns Hopkins, South Florida, and Tufts universities, in addition to the Legion of Honor from France and the Royal Norwegian Order of Merit.
Alan Goodman, in recognition of your exemplary accomplishments in international education and global development, Baruch College is proud to bestow upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa.
Thank you so much. That was a great speech.
Thank you. I would like to invite Dr. Goodman to say a few words to the graduates.
Always like to thank the deans first and then the president. I really appreciate the recognition that all of us in the field of international education and the rescue of scholars and learning feel today with a degree like this. And thank you, graduates, for letting me share for a few minutes your ceremony and your future. IIE was founded by one of your most distinguished faculty members at the time, Stephen Duggan, and he joined with 2 Nobel Peace Prize laureates to create the Institute. They were members of the progressive movement, and the year was 1919. Even they might not have imagined what lay ahead. In 1920, the United States effectively banned immigration based on strict racial quotas. There were no student visas. There was no provision for international scholars to come and teach here. The Institute created the junior year study abroad program in England, France, and Germany, and it was considered un-American. So was the summer language program we created in St. Petersburg, Russia. And we discovered by the end of the decade that American foreign policy began with isolationism, then morphed into neutrality, and by the 1930s, the original version of America First was a movement about foreign policy that was supported by even Walt Disney and John F. Kennedy. We have seen this movie before, and perhaps because we have, I want to assure you there are several possible endings. For 30 years, we worked with the United States government when there were no student visas to have an arrangement for international students and scholars to come and study here at Baruch and throughout the United States. We continued our junior year abroad programs, and we rescued scholars starting with the Bolshevik Revolution and continuing through the Spanish Civil War, the Nazis, even up unto this day, and found places in America for thousands of distinguished scholars and many students who faced extremism. 4 won Nobel Prizes. In the process, we learned something great about American colleges and universities, and I think you heard it from your president just a few minutes ago. Baruch has its own foreign policy. American colleges and universities have their own foreign policies. They're diverse, they're inclusive, and that's what makes America and its colleges and universities great. Bernard Baruch was a smart investor. He was a contemporary of many of our founding trustees, and he probably was an advocate of what would be called today smart power. I'd like to think he agreed with our founders in supporting them that maybe international education is the best investment any of us have in making the world a less dangerous place. Now, we have made some progress. Ironically, 100 years ago to this day, the Second Battle of Messines was being fought in the First World War in Germany. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers on both sides were lined up in trenches, and the British tunneled underneath the German lines. And 100 years ago tomorrow exploded a massive charge that created a crater. Now look around you, twice the size of the Barclay Center. A few months later, it filled with groundwater, and today is a lake in Spa-Broek-Molen, Belgium. It's called a pool of peace in commemoration of the Great War and the sacrifices that ensued. I'd like to think that I'm looking at the 21st century pool of peace in your graduating class. You will This pool of peace, by your skills and by your talent, will heal the sick, assist the vulnerable, keep our cities safe, grow jobs and the economy, fix our planet, and maybe find a different way to resolve conflict among people and nations. I am sure that's what Bernard Baruch had in mind when he supported us when we were founded, and I am sure he is proud of you today, as I am to be part of your ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Goodman. I now ask Aldemaro Romero, Jr., Dean of the Weissman School of Arts and Sciences, to escort our second honorary degree recipient to the podium.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, you're a trailblazer in advancing understanding of science, particularly astronomy and astrophysics, as an author, television host, and the first Frederick P. Rose Director of the Hayden Planetarium at the American Museum of Natural History. In 2001, you were selected by President George W. Bush to serve on a commission that studied the future of the U.S. aerospace industry. In 2004, President Bush appointed you to the Commission on the Implementation of U.S. Space Exploration Policy, dubbed the Commission on Moon, Mars, and Beyond, unquote. That same year, you received the NASA Distinguished Public Service Medal, the highest award given by the agency to a non-governmental citizen. In 2006, you were appointed to NASA's Advisory Council. You have written for dozens of professional publications and have published many popular and influential books, including the memoir, The Sky is Not the Limit, Adventures of an Urban Astrophysicist, and most recently, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. In 2004, you were on-camera host of the PBS Nova 4-part miniseries Origins, a companion to your book Origins, 14 Billion Years of Cosmic Evolution. For 5 seasons, you hosted the PBS program Nova, Science Now, an accessible look at the science that shapes our understanding of the universe. You also serve as executive editor, host, and narrator for Cosmos, a space-time odyssey, the award-winning continuation of Carl Sagan's landmark television series. The International Astronomical Union formally recognized your contributions to the public appreciation of the cosmos with the naming of asteroid 13123 Tyson. A recipient of the Public Welfare Medal by the National Academy of Sciences, you continue to educate and inspire the public as a scientific communicator.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, in recognition of your extraordinary accomplishments in helping to make astrophysics and science in general interesting and accessible to the U.S. population, Baruch College is proud to bestow upon you the degree of Doctor of Pedagogy honoris causa. Dr. Tyson, I am sure that our graduates would love to hear a few words from you.
Pull out a little tie here, just so we can. I got my actual PhD many, many years ago, and when I was offered my first honorary degree some years after that, I said to myself, what value would an honorary degree be? It's the first one that I really worked for. And I kind of had that attitude for many years until someone who at the time happened to be the head of NASA said to me, I'm not name dropping because I just gave the title of the person, not the name, title dropping. The person said that your original PhD only comes with the promise or the expectation that you will continue to achieve, whereas the honorary degree is the affirmation that in fact you have. And so that completely changed my outlook on this. So I'm deeply warmed that I would be considered for this honor, and all I can tell you is I've worked very hard, and I just wonder whether we have failed, because the world is broken, and we have broken it. So, stuff got real recently, and you need to fix it. I'm not saying you should try to fix it, because there is no try. There is only do or do not. Baruch College faculty, Mr. President, thank you for this honor. Change the world, only you can. As I said, we have failed. Somebody else needs to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tyson. I would now like to introduce two of the most impressive graduates of the class of 2017. First, I would like to acknowledge this year's salutatorian, who spoke at our recent Student Achievement Awards ceremony. Kwame A. Francis, will you please rise and be recognized? Kwame was born in the U.S. Virgin Islands and came to Baruch to pursue a Bachelor of Science in Public Affairs after serving in the United States Marine Corps in Thailand, Korea, and the Philippines. On campus, Kwame served as the Vice President for Marketing for the Black Student Union, and he has interned in the New York City Councilwoman's office, Helen Rosenthal. He presently works as a legislative assistant to New York State Senator Martin Golden. In addition to other honors, Barack Obama awarded him the Presidential Bronze Award for volunteer service. Congratulations, Kwame Francis. I'd now like to introduce your valedictorian, Caitlin Larson. Caitlin is receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from Macaulay Honors College at Baruch College and aspires to become a clinical psychologist. Since attending Baruch College as a freshman, Caitlin has been actively engaged in internships, leadership, and community service projects. Most notably, she has served as treasurer for the InterVarsity Christian Fellowship and as a staff writer for our student-run newspaper, The Ticker, and as a lab assistant in the Baruch College Social Cognitive Research Lab. She is the recipient of the 2017 Baruch College Psi-Chi Psychology Award, bestowed upon students earning the highest GPA in our college's psychology program. A member of Psi-Chi International Honor Society in Psychology and Phi Eta Sigma National Honor Society, Caitlin hails from Staten Island. Please join me in congratulating Caitlin Larson, valedictorian of the class of 2017, who will now address the class.
Thank you, Provost Christie. And congratulations, Kwame, on all of your incredible accomplishments. Good morning, President Wallerstein, deans, faculty, special guests, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, my fellow graduates, the class of 2017. We made it! Woo! I just want to briefly thank a few people. I first want to thank God, without whom I would not be standing here today. I also want to thank my parents for their support, even when every day I would come home late just to walk past you, lock myself in my room, and study. You always asked me what I could possibly be doing in there for all those hours. Well, Mom and Dad, this is it. Thank you for your unconditional love and support, and for instilling in me the values that are so much a part of this award. I also want to quickly thank my sister, Victoria, who will always be my #1 role model. And finally, I want to thank my boyfriend, Daniel, for being my biggest fan and giving me the space to put my academic pursuits first, even when those had to come before you. I especially want to thank all of the graduating students here today. I don't know all of your individual stories, but we've all worked hard for these degrees, and going to school with incredible students like you has played a large part in what made my Baruch experience so meaningful. I remember being accepted into Baruch and having others tell me that it was just a commuter school with no real sense of community. They told me that I wouldn't be able to survive the 2-hour-per-day commute from Staten Island. I should stay in my own neighborhood. Those people could not have been more wrong. The first day I walked into the 23rd Street building for freshman convocation, it almost felt like stepping off a plane into a different world. I had commuted alone for what felt like the equivalent of a short plane ride, and I was surrounded by strangers. See, I grew up in a small town in Staten Island, which is an amazing borough and place to call home, but it's also pretty homogeneous in terms of its demographic. It was honestly overwhelming for me to be surrounded by the sheer number of people speaking in different languages with different styles from all walks of life, right in the middle of the big city. Little did I know that a few months later, I would be walking into a small Haitian bakery in East Flatbush as part of an assignment for a Demographics of New York City class. My goal was simply to learn about Haitian American immigrants through firsthand accounts. I had never been in that part of the city before. In fact, I had hardly been to Brooklyn at all. All I knew was that it took way too many trains to get there. Because this was a very small local bakery, even advertising local Haitian newspapers right outside its doors, with primarily Haitian American customers, I knew how conspicuous I was going to be walking in there. As the bakery doors swung open, the little bell announcing my presence almost seemed to me like a siren. I felt like everyone in the bakery turned and stared at me in that moment. But I took a deep breath, ordered a patty at the counter, and explained why I was there. The woman behind the counter introduced me to the owner of the bakery, who sat with me for a long time, discussing her family history, her immigration story, and her years of hard work to keep the bakery open and maintain a piece of her culture in New York City. This woman was so willing to communicate with me, and she was so eager to share. I loved her story. I quickly felt at home after initially being scolded for not getting a Haitian enough meal selection. Soon after, I found myself with a platter of more authentic and very spicy food. And upon my departure, a warm and heartfelt hug goodbye. I remember leaving the bakery that day feeling as if I had truly learned something that I never would have if I had just stayed in my own neighborhood. At Baruch, I was already being pushed out of my comfort zone, going places I had never gone before to learn about other people's cultures and heritages in order to better understand them, a goal integrated into the very curriculum. To me, that is what makes Baruch so unique. It takes the opportunity of 8.5 million people crowded into 5 boroughs and asks, what can we learn? Turning the whole city into a campus of its own. And now, I stand here 4 years from that first day, surrounded by thousands of people whom I can relate to, whom I can call friends, and whom I wouldn't trade for the world. Even in the most frustrating of moments, when I've sat on an express bus in traffic, when I've been so packed into a subway car that I couldn't lift a finger, or when I've missed my ferry by just a minute, I have never once doubted my choice to attend Baruch College. Although I'm wearing the same cap and gown as every student in this crowd, and I'm in no place to give any lofty advice, I hope I can at least encourage you today with the observations I've made of why I felt this way about attending Baruch College and what our community is capable of. One of the first things I did when I came to Baruch was to write an article for our newspaper, The Ticker. My very first article was about the street vendors surrounding our campus, basically our only source of sustenance during those impossible 25-minute breaks. One of the most poignant moments, and the moment I knew I was in the right place, was when I interviewed Peter, a South Korean immigrant and owner of the kimchi cart that many of us have come to know and love on 25th and Lex. Yeah, that stuff is good. I asked Peter a simple question. What do you think of Baruch students? I can remember his response so vividly. He actually paused for a moment in front of the grill where he worked relentlessly for 10 hours a day to look up at me and smile. He squinted at me with sweat on his brow and a long line of students stretching into the distance behind him to smile and tell me, these students are really cool, really nice, kind, they're different. As Baruch students, we stand out to the people in the city around us. And it's not only because of our grades, the number of credits we have, or our majors. Of course, these things are important. We've put in countless hours of hard work to make it through all those prereqs and capstones, to find opportunity in a tough job market, to fine-tune our resumes and interviewing skills, and to be sitting here today on graduation day. That quality of hard work has already set us apart. But Baruch has also imparted to us a unique mindset that guides our interactions in our everyday lives. We stand out because of our ability to reach out to and appreciate the people in the world around us who may not necessarily look or sound the way we do. That is what allowed us to impact a person like Peter in the mere 25 minutes we have to get from one class to another, in the midst of putting in the kind of hard work that has also shaped us into the Baruch graduates that we are today. We've been told since day one that Baruch has consistently been rated one of the most ethnically diverse colleges in the nation. It's one thing to have that title and numbers, and another to see the reality of that experience play out in our everyday lives and the impact it can have on other people. I have found myself at Baruch at all hours of the day and night, having long conversations with international students during newspaper interviews, moderating thoughtful discussions between Muslims and Christians, sharing a meal with Sikh students, watching Indian dance, creating new ideas with members of a psychology lab. At Baruch, I can walk freely to and from any clubroom, and I know that nobody will look at me like I don't belong there. Sometimes you can even catch me dancing at some club events, which I know doesn't look very likely, and it shows a true restraint of judgment that nobody ever laughed at my dancing, so thank you. But as your fellow student, I can personally attest to what Peter told me that crisp fall afternoon of my freshman year. Of course, as a school of New Yorkers and primarily business students in accounting classes with competitive curves, we all have that mentality of surviving and getting ahead. But there is something different about Baruch students. I've seen it in the study groups that have formed after class, in the clubs that have combined forces to host events for fellow students and the community at large. Our diversity has given us a deeper understanding of each other, no matter where we come from, that allows us to work together respectfully. And I know this seems common to you. It must seem really obvious because it's been your daily life for the past 4 years. But that's rare to have, especially in the world we live in today. As we graduate in these times of deep political and international division, who we are and how we choose to treat the people in our environments who are from all sorts of backgrounds with all types of identities becomes even more crucial than ever before. So as you're going to that big firm interview, as you're rushing to make a train, as you're collaborating with coworkers, even as you're grabbing your next meal at the halal cart near your office, remember to stop and look at the people around you, to appreciate them for what they bring to your environment, to compromise and listen to their ideas and work with them. That way, as we move on from this place, we can continue to extend our Baruch community and influence wherever we go next, beyond the multi-purpose room, beyond 25th and Lex, even beyond the street vendors like Peter, who don't attend Baruch, but are certainly a part of its vibrant culture because of how we have treated them. We may have 160 countries represented in our student body, but at the end of the day, we are all Bearcats. This mindset, coupled with the hard work and perseverance we all have put in to be here today, has formed a group of graduates with whom I couldn't be more proud to be receiving my degree with. We've taken the express elevator to the 11th floor, but trust me, as we all know, there's always more stairs left to climb. So never stop persisting and working hard to accomplish your goals. And most importantly, always keep an open mind. Congratulations once again, class of 2017. I wish you success in all you do from here on. Thank you.
Thank you to Caitlin, Kwamid, and all of our students. Today is also a day to celebrate our wonderful faculty, some of whom are seated here on the platform. Faculty are the core of any college, and at Baruch, we're privileged to have a very deep bench. People who pursue careers in academia are making a commitment to preserve and expand knowledge. They do this in part through their own scholarship and in part through the knowledge and understanding of the world that they have imparted to you, our graduates. Members of the faculty have worked very hard to help you succeed academically and to take the next step in achieving your dreams. So I invite you to take this opportunity to rise up and thank them. Please join me. Please be seated. Every year, we also identify 4 outstanding scholars who are worthy of our Presidential Excellence Awards. As difficult as it is to choose the honorees, the Baruch College community selects individuals who are exceptional educators and experts in their disciplines. We are honored for their outstanding achievement and recognize them at a special event in May. 2 of them are here with us today. Will Eric Mandelbaum please join President Wallerstein at the front of the stage? The Presidential Excellence Award for Distinguished Faculty Scholarship goes to Eric Mandelbaum, Assistant Professor of Philosophy in the Weissman School of Arts and Sciences. We'd also like to present the award for distinguished teaching to Jessica Lang, Associate Professor of English in the Weissman School of Arts and Sciences. Jessica, would you join us at the front of the stage? Thank you.
A variety of awards and honors are bestowed upon our graduating students each year. There are too many, in fact, to be distributed individually at these exercises. Therefore, Provost Christie and I, along with Art King, who is Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students, as well as Deans Birdsell, Huss, and Romero, conducted a separate ceremony in May where 203 awards were presented to more than 186 students. The awards recognize academic excellence, leadership, and outstanding achievement in specific disciplines. May I ask all those who received awards last week to please rise and accept our congratulations. Thank you. One of the students honored at our Student Awards ceremony last week was Daniel Dornbaum, President of the Undergraduate Student Government. Daniel and I co-hosted a radio show this year on the college's radio station called Park Bench Philosophers, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Daniel, would you please come forward and share some thoughts with us now?
Good morning. Before I begin, please put your hands together for the Office of Student Life, Public Safety, and all the student volunteers who have been helping out today. President Wallerstein, honorary degree recipients, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, and staff. My name is Daniel Dornbaum, President of the Undergraduate Student Government, and I am so honored to be a part of the class of 2017. Now, I am a third-generation CUNY student. My grandfather attended Baruch. My parents messed up and went to Hunter. But I turned it around and am here today in front of you, a few minutes away from graduating CUNY's flagship institution. In my few minutes, I want to talk to you about resisting complacency. You see, I don't need to tell you all that we live in interesting times, and it is said that when you do this, it is a curse and a blessing. Recently, it's felt a little lopsided. In recent months, society's flaws have been highlighted, and what we once considered the norm has been flipped on its head. We must make it our shared mission not to let these changes to our culture become the new standard. We must continue to organize, mobilize, and speak out against the injustices around us. In an age of constant distraction, we must not be lulled into complacency, but rather have a sense of urgency when it comes to righting this ship. It starts with all of us playing our part, getting engaged and staying active, joining your local community board, political club, or volunteering for a local nonprofit, registering to vote, and then voting in every election to ensure that your voice is heard. I promise the walk to the local poll site is I messed that joke up. It's easier than getting to class in the 23rd Street building. So, Baruch did prepare you for this. Over your years, you have undoubtedly filled yourself with a countless number of dollar pizza slices, bacon, egg, and cheese, and chicken over rice, extra white, no hot. But you have also been filled with the tools to go out into your communities and provide the change society desperately is in need of. You have the ability to go into any environment and not only succeed, but encourage success around you, which is the mark of true leadership. This is how we take our first steps down the path of progress. In this moment, look around. You are surrounded by those who have invested in you and your success and have envisioned a future through you. Please join me in thanking them one more time. Two years ago on this stage, a mentor of mine said, there are two types of people in this world, those who cannot remember where they came from and those who cannot forget. In that spirit, I want to tell you a brief story. I was recently speaking to a Baruch alumni regarding their application to business school. When I asked her where she was applying, she ran through the list of Columbia, Penn, Yale. Being the proud Bearcat that I am, I asked her why Baruch didn't make the list. She told me that she wanted to be able to be in the same creative space as former presidents, walk in the same halls as Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. And I could understand that. She was drawing inspiration from leaders that had come before her. Class of 2017, it is up to you to create this legacy for Baruch. 5-10 years from now, students will be wanting to be in the same space as Vanessa Santana or Nicole Clemens or Dan Daly. These are three of your classmates sitting out there, and they've already begun to inspire those around them. They are examples of the extraordinary talent that is cultivated here at Baruch, and yet it is only a small sample of the awe-inspiring abilities of this class. So yes, we do live in interesting times, but surrounded by you all today, I know it is not a curse, but a blessing. Class of 17, there are a million things we haven't done, but just you wait. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our 2017 commencement speaker, who is also a member of the graduating class. Adam Newman is co-founder and CEO of WeWork, and today he is receiving his Bachelor in Business Administration from the Zicklin School of Business. Adam embodies the Baruch College can-do spirit and personal drive. He started college in 2002, but by the fall of 2005, he left Baruch to become a serial entrepreneur. First, he co-founded and ran Big Tent Incorporated, where he developed two well-known brands of children's clothing, Egg Baby and Crawlers. With these achievements behind him, in 2010, he co-founded WeWork in Soho. His bet was that people who are working in shared workspaces would achieve more together than they would on their own. And he was right. Today, the company provides workspace, community, and services to more than 100,000 members in more than 40 cities worldwide. As WeWork continues to expand globally, the company is focusing on building collaborative technologies that help connect members around the world so they are empowered to reach the goals that inspire them. Tremendously successful though Adam is, his Israeli grandmother felt that his amazing achievements would not be complete unless he completed his undergraduate degree. And so, at her urging, Adam returned to Baruch to complete the requirements for his BBA. And he has earned, as I said, his Bachelor of Business Administration in Entrepreneurship. Adam, on behalf of Baruch College, we are delighted that you are here as our commencement speaker and also as a graduating student.
If I go, there's just no telling how far I'll go. No telling how far I'll go. If I go, there's just no telling how far I'll go.
Thank you. It's my daughter's favorite song. Elle, that was for you. You know, I love this song because it tells, having two daughters myself, it's sometimes hard to find amazing books that show the great women of this country and of this world, all the amazing things that you can and will become. And it's true, it's true. And when we saw that movie with my daughters and they related to it so much, I realized that there's content missing in this world, really sharing this kind of information. So for the first thing I want to say today, no one can stop you. There is no glass ceiling. That is the history, that is the past. You are the only people and students, graduates, parents, families who can be in your own way. And starting today, we will know that the future is ours and we will do with it as we please. And if we look back one day and are not happy with what happened, there's only one person to look at, and that's right here. With that, welcome Baruch College, class of 2017. What a great stadium right here in Brooklyn, where actually a lot of my history starts right here. Thank you, deans, faculty, presidents, families, students. It's my honor and privilege to graduate with all of you today. I can honestly say that it probably took me less time, took you less time than me to graduate, considering the fact that it took me 15 years and my first class was in January 2002. It's true, it's a true story. Growing up in Israel, watching American television and movies, my definition, Israel. Thank you. You know you're surrounded by immigrants when you say a country that no one ever states and suddenly you get some noise. That's a great thing. Growing up in Israel, watching American television and movies, my definition of success was completely misguided. Most of my heroes when I was a kid pursuing meaningless pop culture were materialistic, superficial, and egocentrical. Tell you something else about them. I know as a fact that they weren't even happy. I was a very confused young student, and I didn't understand what truly mattered. I believed, and maybe some of you believe that today, that the American dream is get a degree, get a great job, have lots of fun, make lots of money. Just saying it sounds ridiculous. But at the time, I didn't know better. And because of that, I spent my first 2 years in Baruch studying a little bit and partying a lot. I majored in entrepreneurship and marketing, and I thought the best way to practice what I learned at school, because we talk a lot about mentorship, was to practice with every bouncer, convincing him to let me in the club, every promoter, convincing him to give me free drinks, and basically hitting on every girl in the city. Maybe I thought that was going to be fun, but I gotta tell you the truth. Very quickly it got old, and very quickly I would wake up every morning with this horrible feeling in my stomach. And I was like, when is the fun really gonna start? Because I'm doing all these things and I'm drinking and partying, but where's the fun? After 2 years, a close friend from Israel came. He looked at me and said, "Is this why you left Israel? Is this why you left your family and your loved ones, everyone you care about, to go party in New York City?" I was inspired by his words and by his harsh criticism. I woke up the next morning and said, it's time to start my first business adventure. Now, because of the past 2 years, I thought the obvious thing for me to do is women's shoes. Made sense because it was my specialty, my master's. I came up with a genius idea. It was going to be a women's high-heel shoe with a collapsible heel. And the point was that as the women of New York City navigate through the urban jungle, they can walk on flats to be comfortable and then go to hills and be fashionable. I thought it was sort of a Hunger Games meets Sex in the City. Come together. The first sample came in, and to our astonishment, one of our employees' fingers almost got cut off when that heel collapsed. Very quickly, I realized I know nothing about this category, and this is definitely not my passion. I took a month just to sort of get together and try to forget about my business of very, very dangerous shoes. And I came up with my second great idea. This one I knew was gonna make it big. Crawlers with a K. K for extra coolness. Crawlers was baby pants with knee pads on them to protect the baby's knees for the crawling age. An inspired idea like that needed an inspired tagline that only Shakespeare could write, and it went something like this: just because they don't tell you doesn't mean they don't hurt. Of course, the business was a tremendous failure. For the next 5 years, I slaved. I worked so hard, I thought it was smart to drop out of school when I only had 4 credits left. Not a smart move. And I left to follow a business that I wasn't passionate about. At the peak of our success, we did 2 million in sales, but we had 3 million in expenses. And every single month, I didn't know how we're gonna make payroll. By the time I was 28, 5 years after I arrived to New York City, I was 30 pounds lighter than today. I was smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. My hands were shaking violently, and I was confused and lost. Thank God, at this moment, the universe intervened and introduced me to Rebecca. Rebecca, wait till you're here. Wait till you're here. Rebecca went on the first date with me, and within 5 minutes, now I say 5 minutes to be nice, but it truly took 10 seconds. She looked me straight in the eye, and she said, "You, my friend, are full of shit." She then said, "Every single word that comes out of your mouth is fake. You talk about business, but you have no passion. You talk about money, but I know you're broke." "How do you know I'm broke?" She said, "Every time we go out to dinner, you wait for me to put my credit card down." She said, "Maybe it's an Israeli thing, but here in America, it's okay to share or actually buy the woman a meal. It's legit." So she said, "I know you're broke. And worst of all," she said, "everything you do and everything, it's without meaning." This was the first time that someone spoke to me this way. Now in life, someone will come to you and give you a real advice. You measure if that person has no agenda. If that person has no agenda, listen, because it might be a message from the universe. Thank God I was smart enough to listen, and I said, "Well, if I'm so bad and you're so good, what do you suggest?" And she said, "It's very simple. Find your do what you love moment. If you're not gonna do something you're passionate about, you're wasting your time. Then take intention and meaning. Bring those two things together. And only if you brought those two things together, the path will show itself." And she said to me, "If you do that, I promise you, success will follow and the money will follow if you think that's important." I was like, wow. And I did 2 things. Number 1, I immediately proposed to this amazing woman. We only dated for a few months. And Rebecca, I just wanted to say Thank you for agreeing to marry me. Thank you for always being there for me. I am nothing without you, and I would not be able to do this. Thank you for seeing my potential when no one else did. And thank you for accepting my proposal. I wish for every single person in this room to find a soulmate and a partner like that. And you will know, and we will get to it in a second, that nothing is more important. The second gift that Rebecca gave me, I realized, was a blueprint for a meaningful life. And I would like to take a second and share with you that same blueprint, hoping you can take something out of it. Number one, work on yourself. If you're not right now working on yourself with a therapist, with a spiritual practice, with friends, if you're not trying to grow and get better every day, you're missing out on life. And I'll tell you something about the pursuit of personal growth. It's a daily action. I know everyone here is a graduate, but in the pursuit of personal growth, we're all students for life. And I think every night before you go to sleep, ask yourself, did I learn something important today? Do I have a big lesson or a small one? And if the answer is no, think harder, because every day there is one. So number one, work on yourself. Number two in the blueprint, and basically most important, your soulmate or your partner that you're going to choose is the most important decision you're going to make in your life. I don't care what anybody else tells you. Families, we love you. We couldn't choose to be with you. We were born into our families, and that is a fact. Our siblings were born and brought to us, and that is a fact, and we love them for it unconditionally. But who you choose to be with is your own choice. Make sure you make the right one. Here are a few hints to know that you made the right choice. Number one, a true partner will not be impressed with your bullshit. They will be impressed with real things. They won't be impressed with how much money you have, what job you have, how you speak, or how you look. A true partner will not only love you for who you are today, but will see your potential of who you're going to become tomorrow and love that. A true partner will be there for you in the happy times and the celebrations, but will also pick you up when you're down. And a true partner will learn how to love the things about you that annoy them the most. Because that's how true love is. That's the second one. Third, kids. Now, I don't want to scare anyone, and no one's saying you should have kids anytime soon. Take your time, and some of you already have kids, and congratulations. I myself am very lucky and have 4. But kids is a very special thing. Because if you work on yourself and you have the right partner, you will do an unbelievable job with your kids. And let me tell you a little secret about kids. They're all geniuses. They're all entrepreneurs. They're all creators. They're all unique, and they're all special. And it's our job as parents or partners or co-parents or all the awesome words we have today. It's our job to unleash their potential. And if we do that, I promise you, they will unleash yours. Fourth, friends. Friends is a very special thing. If anyone sitting in this auditorium today does not have one true friend, you're missing on life. If you have a true friend, get another one. How do you know that it's a true friend? Like a true partner. They tell you your truth in your face. They don't get impressed by the wrong thing. They pick you up when you're down, but they expect you to do the same. I'm very lucky that I have a group of friends that has always supported me and always been with me. And I just want to say thank you to my friends that are here today in the audience and around me, because without you, I'm nothing, and without you, I couldn't have done it. So thank you, and I love you, and thank you for coming. Back to the 15 years. Why did this graduation take 15 years? Well, when I was in Baruch College, and don't think I had a great time, as you just heard. I didn't think that getting the diploma was the important thing. I thought that the experiences that I'm having, I thought that the connections I'll be making is the important thing. But Savta Esti, my grandmother, who paid for my full tuition, thought differently. She really did want me to graduate. She really did. And she kept asking me every year, when are you graduating? When are you graduating? And I said, Esty, you know, I have a family, we're doing well. No, when are you graduating? I need to hang it above my bed. Well, I'm lucky enough today to understand that family is as important as everything else I just said. And if a family members feel strongly about something, then we feel strongly about it also. And I just want to share with you a few words about Esty, who is actually here in the crowd today. Esty was born in 1934 in Poland. And when her father walked her with a stroller one day, a stranger looked into the crib and said a comment that was extremely anti-Semitic about the baby girl who was only 6 months old. Her father, my great-grandfather, realized that if a person can say something so negative about a baby, there's a true problem in the world. He immediately, within a week, took his young wife and his young daughter and got on a boat and moved to Israel. After he settled in Israel, he went back to Poland to convince his 10 brothers and sisters to join him in this new land. None of them did, and tragically, every one of them perished. I say that today because in front of me stand immigrants. I am an immigrant, my grandparents are immigrants, 80% of the people here are immigrants. This school, 80% of the people here are immigrants. It is a fact. In case you're wondering, it is what makes America great. And because we're all immigrants, we should know how lucky and how much privilege we have. We're here pursuing a dream. We're here with the opportunity to find happiness and make peace. And that is an amazing thing. But it's important to remember that around the world right now, there are many people who do not share the same luck that we do. And with this great privilege comes great responsibility to live a meaningful life. Number 5, and my last point on the blueprint that my awesome wife taught me. Building a meaningful business. Just like life, building a meaningful business is a must. Otherwise, you'll never wake up, you'll never get out of bed, and it's probably not gonna work. I'm gonna give you the secret, it's quite easy. First, your business needs to have a purpose. If it doesn't have a purpose, why are you wasting your time? Hang out at home and chill. Number two, people. If you have a business that's mission-driven, and this is not only about starting your own business, you can choose organizations that are the same. If you have a business that's mission-driven, you will attract the best people. If you attract the best people, remember this, you have to treat them the way you want to be treated. You have to take care of them. I know today, and I did not understand this in the past, that the most important thing in our business, and in every business, are the employees and the people making it work every single day. From our CSAs, who are helping clean our buildings and helping make it great every day, to our accountants, to our builders, to every single profession that we have. It's the people that make you a success or a failure. Now, if you have purpose and you have great people, the next thing is build a great product. Now, this one, some people get confused. They think, I've been asked many times, I have this amazing intention and I have great people and my business is still not doing well. I'll tell you another secret. Your business has to make sense. If the business is not making sense, if you're not profitable at the end, yes, there are a few companies, we hear about them, they lose a lot of money every month. Don't build that. Build a business that's actually meaningful and also has a significant and powerful business model, because that will make everything work. And if you have purpose and you have the right people and you have a great product, I guarantee you that profits will come. And that is the 5th. With that in mind, in 2010, Miguel, Rebecca, and myself started WeWork. We only had 1 employee and 30 members and 3,000 square feet. But this time, as opposed to my dangerous shoe business and my crawlers with a K business, where I thought life was a sprint and you need to get to the end as soon as possible, where I thought it was a single sport. By the time I got to WeWork, I learned an important lesson. Business, like life, is a marathon. Take your time. Do it from the heart. Bring the right people and know that it's a team sport. If you understand that it's a team sport, then you will have people that can always carry you through the finish line. I also learned, stay true to yourself. If you're not true to yourself, again, wasting your time, and you want to be true to others. I learned that giving is receiving. That sounds simple, but remember this one, it's a big one. Giving is receiving. The more you give, the more you receive. I also learned that if you want to help someone, and you really want to do it with the heart, don't expect anything in return. If you're walking around helping people, this guy owes me this, and this woman owes me that, you're not doing it right. Help people without expecting anything in return, and the best thing will happen, it will help you. Most important and last conclusion for my business, throughout the past 7 years of WeWork and that 15 years of my business experience, I've learned one truth. The best companies in the world, just like the best individuals in the world, always, always keep an open heart. And if you do that, everything else will work itself out. And with that, fellow graduates, now that I've told you my story and shared with you my blueprint, I want you to know something. We're all anxious to see yours unfold. We're all anxious to see how you take your creativity and your ability, your passion and your intention, and share it with the world. Do me a favor and do not share it with organizations, causes, or ideas that don't appreciate you and don't appreciate what you bring to the table. Because it's very important. Because I know as you think of your next job, there are a lot of sexy jobs out there. And I know you were told that you're supposed to get that job or this other job. Here's the truth. Your first job might not be your best job. And maybe it won't have the passion that you're looking for. But if you keep working on yourself and you remember the things that we just talked about today, there's always a coworker that needs your help. There's always a customer that needs to be uplifted. There's always time at home when you can work on your own creativity and on your own passions. As exciting as technology might be, as exciting as driverless cars or flying to the space, I want us to never forget that the future, while leveraging technology, lies in ourselves. It is us who will blaze a path forward, paved not with algorithms, not with software, but with values, with friendship, with common goals, and most importantly, with humanity. And thank you. People talk a lot about the Industrial Revolution. Let me tell you a secret about the Industrial Revolution. It was a time when human beings were reduced to working in an assembly line. Not only that, there is reminiscence of this time still till today. In schools, we have a teacher standing and everybody in lines right in front of that teacher. That was a way to prepare the young generation to work for the assembly line. The distance between the haves and the haves-not was never greater. And we're in a very dangerous time when it's about to unfold. A lot of people talk about the third wave, the new revolution. They talk about connectivity. They talk about internet. They talk about hyperloops to connect cities really quickly and tunnels so we avoid the traffic. That all sounds amazing. But let me tell you something. I don't think that's true. In my opinion, the next revolution is going to be the we revolution. And the we revolution is going to be led by the we generation. And it will restore in each one of us a sense of dignity and community without which greatness cannot be achieved. The we generation knows that you must treat other people the way you want to be treated. That being part of something greater than yourself is a privilege. And the we generation does not discriminate between age, race, gender, or religion. We are global citizens of the earth. Our weapon is information. Our missiles are armed with truth. And we will not stand by, and we will not lend our power to presidents, CEOs, ministers, or anybody, any leader that does not lead us in the right direction, that lies to us, that does not take care of our environment and our future. No one is above the law. And we will come together, and we will tweet, and we will post, and we will share. And we will not stop until you take us seriously and until you deliver us the world that we're expecting, the world that we want for our children and our children's children and our great-great-great-great-grandchildren. And if you're not a forward thinker, then you find a different job, because we want leaders that share our values. We are we. And if we work together, we cannot be stopped. Or else, divided we fall. And with that, fellow graduates, take this blueprint and make one of your own. Create your own version of your path. Look at your map for life. Where are you today? Where do you want to go? Make sure you're always headed in the right direction. Find friends, family, loved ones that will correct you every time you need to be in the middle. No one is perfect. In 10 years, I want you to know that you could and should be standing right here talking to the next graduates of Baruch College. Each one of you is special. Each one of you is a creator. Each one of you is an entrepreneur. Each one of you is an artist. You're a painter. You're a singer. You're a writer. We, all of us, your fellow students, your faculty, your parents, and the world are waiting for you to unleash your superpower. Class of 2017, congratulations, and go change the world!
Thank you, Adam, for those inspiring and thought-provoking remarks, and welcome back to the Baruch College community. Now, we are about to confer 5,872 bachelor's and master's degrees. I guess that's what you came here for, right? Last week, in a CUNY-wide ceremony at David Geffen Hall at Lincoln Center, Baruch College also awarded 16 doctoral degrees to students who had completed their coursework and dissertations under the supervision of Baruch College faculty. They included 10 doctorates in business and 6 in industrial organizational psychology. We are proud to recognize those students today as graduates of Baruch College.
It is now time for today's main event, the awarding of the degrees granted by Baruch College of the City University of New York. We're going to do this in pieces. Now listen up. I ask that all of you who are candidates for graduate degrees in the Austin W. Marks School of Public and International Affairs please rise. Presenting the candidates is Marks Dean David Birdsell.
Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty of the newly endowed and named Austin W. Marks School of Public and International Affairs, I am pleased to present to you candidates for the Master of Public Administration, Executive Master of Public Administration, Master of Science in Educational Leadership, and Master of Science in Higher Education Administration. And I respectfully ask that they be awarded the degree earned, becoming the first to graduate under the Austin W. Marks name. These 343 men and women represent the future of our government, our schools, and our nonprofit organizations. Knowing many of them, I can attest that we have every reason to be optimistic about the future of our country. Accepting a symbolic diploma on behalf of her classmates is Myrna Candelaria.
Please be seated. I now ask that all of you who are candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in the Marks School of Public and International Affairs to please rise.
Mr. President, once again, on behalf of the faculty of the Marks School of Public and International Affairs, I am proud to present to you these students from among 62 candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree and respectfully request that they be awarded the degree earned. Accepting a symbolic diploma for the candidates is Peter Lewicki.
Please be seated. Now, will all the candidates for graduate degrees in the George and Mildred Wiseman School of Arts and Sciences please rise? Presenting the candidates is Dean Aldemar Romero, Jr.
Mr. President, on behalf of the Weizmann School faculty, I am pleased to present to you these fine students from among the 190 candidates for the Masters of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Arts in Corporate Communication, Master of Arts in Mental Health Counseling, Master of Science in Financial Engineering, and Master of Science in Industrial Organizational Psychology degrees, and respectfully request that you award them the degree earned. Accepting a symbolic diploma on behalf of all of these candidates is Renee Kotsis.
Please be seated. Will all the candidates for their bachelor's degree in the Weizmann School of Arts and Sciences please rise?
Mr. President, on behalf of the Weizmann School faculty, I am pleased to present to you these fine students from among 190 candidates, and I think I jumped the page here, among the 1,161 candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree in the Weizmann School of Arts and Sciences. They have pursued a traditional liberal arts curriculum while taking advantage of the professional training available to them. And as a result, Mr. President, they are ready for anything. I respectfully ask you to award them the degree earned. Accepting a symbolic diploma on behalf of the candidates is Alexis Lungu.
Please be seated. I now ask that all of you who are candidates for graduate degrees in the Zicklin School of Business please rise. Presenting the candidates is Dean Fenwick Huss.
Mr. President, I proudly present the candidates from the following programs: Master of Business Administration, Executive MBA, MBA in Healthcare Administration, Master of Science, Executive Master of Science, and Master of Science in Labor and Industrial Relations. The Zicklin School of Business is proud to send these 993 men and women into leadership positions around the world. On behalf of the faculty, I respectfully ask that you award the degrees earned. Accepting a symbolic degree is Don Ojihu.
Please be seated. And finally, will all the candidates for the Bachelor of Business Administration in the Zicklin School of Business please rise?
Mr. President, I am honored to present 3,123 candidates for a Bachelor of Business Administration degree. These very talented and motivated graduates will indeed go far. On behalf of the faculty, I respectfully ask that you award the degrees as earned. Accepting a symbolic diploma for the class today is Ting Ting Lee.
I now ask all the candidates from all the schools to rise together for the conferral of their degrees. President Wallerstein, on behalf of the entire faculty of the Bernard M. Baruch College of the City University of New York, I ask that you confer the degrees upon the candidates that have been assembled here today. In accord with honor tradition, we ask that upon the confirmation of your degree, graduating students move the tassel from the right side of your mortarboard to the left.
Thank you, Chief Marshal. This is my favorite part of the entire school year. Candidates, with the authority granted by the Charter of the State of New York to the Board of Trustees and delegated by the Board to me this day, I hereby confer upon you the degree for which you have worked so hard, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto. Congratulations!
Please be seated. Graduates, you have now joined that exceptional group, the alumni of Baruch College, who distinguished themselves in the rich commercial, civic, and cultural life of this great city and beyond. I'd like to thank our soloists, Catherine Ochoa and Professor Teresa Parker, our Chief Marshal, Marco DeSena, and the great team of college staff headed by Damali Smith and Kenya Lee for their wonderful contribution to today's celebration.
It is fitting that the final act of these ceremonies is the singing of the Baruch College alma mater, led by Teresa Parker, director of the Baruch College Chorus. The words and music can be found on the overhead screens and in the front of your program. I invite you to rise and sing along.
Standing high above the city's mighty roar, Bernard Baruch, we sing to you now and evermore, praising you for years. We will always be proud to call you alma mater, diligent and free. Knowledge of the world, the honor it will bring, are what you have given us. That is why we sing your dignity and strength. Make our spirits soar. Bernard Baruch, we sing to you forevermore. Bernard Baruch, we sing to you
Mr. President, words of inspiration have been heard and degrees have been conferred. I will now ask everyone to please remain in their places until the faculty and platform party have left the stage. I hereby declare that these exercises of the 2017 commencement of Bernard M. Baruch College of the City University of New York are now concluded. Thank you.